Recently, a local Kenyan TV station called TV47 carried out an item about Chiloba murder mystery. I keep asking myself after watching it, was it what it appears, or could it be a case of devil worshipping? I don't know. It revealed a lot, yet the little that it didn't disclose is very revealing. A huge ship is sunk by a small hole. It is this small hole that we are looking at. First and foremost, their lifestyle, that is the convict and the deceased, was open. On social media, they were photographed, that they took pictures that disclosed exactly how they were living, especially the deceased wearing expensive female clothes. So that question of their lifestyle is not in doubt. It is a very straightforward case. There is nothing wrong with two men sharing a room with one bed. I would say this. I know of so many people. You share one single bed, but two men each has his own blankets. So it is quite normal to find a room, especially for young and poor men. It is quite uh, ordinary to find such an arrangement where they are sharing a single house or a single room with a single bed. But the question comes, why did he decide that the late was to sleep on a sofa set chair? On that particular day, he decided that the convict decided that the deceased would sleep on a sofa chair. Why? Then there is the two questions, or the twin questions, of the arguments before reaching home, reaching home, and the other one being the moving out of the convict. The convict had decided to go back to his wife and child. I think that might have annoyed the deceased. Obviously, the deceased was concerned, but it may even have been annoyed. It may have annoyed him. He could ask himself, how do I foot my new residence? How do I foot? They had already announced to the owners of the house that they were moving out by 5th of that day. How do I foot for my new residence? The deceased may have been paying a bit or even nothing. Now let us take the two examples aside. Assuming that he was paying nothing, it meant that he will have to look for a place and money to stay. Assume that they were sharing costs. He had gotten used to living in a place where he paid rent. He was used to an upper life where he paid half the amount. Now, it is understandable when he gets concerned, because he may have to lack a place to live. He may even have to live in the slums or even lack a house. If we follow this line, then it is possible that the late must have been aggressive. If we follow this line, it is quite possible that the late may have been aggressive, especially concerning how maybe this one was moving out without notice, or with such a short notice, that the deceased may not have had time to regroup this after a drink too many may provoke tension may provoke tension. Another understanding thing is the struggle. The allegation that the late took out the wire and was overpowered doesn't sell. It doesn't sell. Uh, it is just obvious that the convict took out, and this is a case where somebody is trying to reason and whatever. I have had cases. Let me give an example. I have already recorded in a past video whereby I was trying to reason with a watchman concerning matters to do what? Uh, I was to pay them their salary, but unfortunately that day the salary didn't, and then he became unruly, and I shouted Mwizi, and if people would have come, he would have been killed as a result of it. There are those actions which have happened. There are even occasions, I know of a case around here, not very far from here. I remember somebody who got drunk and behaved as though he's mad. He provoked somebody, and somebody went and took out a big a big stick, and he wanted to beat him up mercilessly. It is just that we jumped on him and restrained him. Suppose he would have got at that and beaten that person. There are these things that they are called temporary madness, but telling us that the deceased took out the wire and he was overpowered doesn't sell. Uh, Another thing is when waking up and finding himself in the sitting room and not in the bedroom may have caused a heated argument. Now, it is really hard to convince somebody that these were just roommates. This is really hard. Now, if even if they were roommates, because I say that I'm aware, even during the days when we were bachelors, two men would sleep on the same bed and each would be use his blanket. Let me side talk it a bit. Uh, that is where we used to have problems, because one of them could bring a visitor, and then the other one had to look for a place to sleep on that day without notice. So these things are normal among young men since when they were not, even when these two were not even born. But I'm trying to reason here that the deceased, he woke up and found himself in the sitting room and not in the bedroom. Remember, they had taken a lot of alcohol and whatever. It may have caused a heated argument. May have caused an heated argument. I have seen that in my police life and in my adult life, where a man and a woman are living together. And when the man insists that the woman sleeps in the sitting room or in the guest room, I expect if these people had an affair, maybe it was on that level. Uh, that is what I really feel. But the question of the late trying to strangle, trying to strangle the convict does not convince me especially. What makes it confusing is the narrative of trying to sleep, yet somebody had loud music on the compound. He said that he really tried to sleep, but he was unable to sleep because one of the neighbors, I think downstairs, had music high. You want to tell me that coming from a night out or even nightclub where music and alcohol was in plenty, and then you tell me that you could not sleep? Uh, okay, I stopped taking alcohol a long time ago, but telling me that we have been drinking, I've been drinking a lot, enjoying myself in a nightclub and whatever, and then I come back home, a neighbor is playing music loudly, and the music disturbs me that I can't sleep. That one doesn't say. Actually, if I would not have taken any alcohol, actually, if I would not have left the home or anything, that music would have disturbed me. So it doesn't sell. Then after the struggle, uh, I mean, then he talks that after the struggle with the deceased, he may not have known that Chiloba was dead, and he went to sleep. He says that after the struggle, He saw Chiloba maybe performing. You know, when somebody is about to die, there's those the changing of the eye, throwing of the hands and the legs. And he believed that Chiloba, because in the previous life he has been doing that. I think this may not even have been the first attempt of such a thing. It may have happened before. It may have happened before. And so Chiloba, when maybe even in the past he has tried to strangle Chiloba to death, and Chiloba has been pretending that he's dying or anything, but this time it went beyond that. But what is this that makes you sleepless? Eh? What makes you so sleepless? And then after struggle, you go and sleep soundly. Let me tell you, after struggle, not even struggle, even after heated argument, that one can make me not sleep. But a neighbor's music, okay, it can make me not sleep, but it cannot disturb me as much as a heated debate, a heated struggle. You start, there is that you go into what do you call, trying to evaluate on your own the things that are happening. For example, if you're the one who's paying the rent, you start, so I pay him the rents and he is not grateful, whatever, or is that whatever. But him, music alone, just music from a neighbor, caused him not to sleep. But when they had struggled and he had overpowered his friend, then sleep came on. Most likely, the music was still on when he went to sleep. Most likely, obviously, the sleeplessness, no, the sleeplessness was overcome by the action. The sleepiness was overcome by the action, the struggling action. Was he overtaken by dark forces? As a criminologist, I understand a person who is overcome by dark forces may even kill and then revert to normal. He would also be shocked to learn of the murder. For example, a good example, a person can leave, go to the gate, murder the watchman, come back to the house, sleep. In the morning he wakes up, he finds people at the gate saying that somebody at night killed the watchman, and he's really very shocked. Actually, if there is no CCTV, uh, he, he would even stay and become as old as I am, believing that somebody else came and murdered them. Those are the powers of dark forces. So we can say that his sleepiness may have been as a result of dark forces, which relaxed after the human sacrifice. He must have been debating among himself as to what to do and how to begin it and whatever. So he was so stressed that he could not sleep. And maybe he had decided that this person would not live on that same day. So that one was causing him sleepless night. But once he had done it, be it dark forces or not, then after the human sacrifice, when the dark forces take over you, after they are done with you, they get out of you, and you just lead a normal life. You don't even know that anything bad has happened. I am also looking at his acts after realizing what he had done. Let us take it this way. He took some time. He went and slept. From sleeping, he there's a time when he was shocked that his friend was still in the position that he left him. So that is what I'm looking at. That is the time he realized what had happened, or that is the time he claims he realized what had happened. From his confession, from the convict's confession, we start at the point of him Googling. Remember, he said that he reached a place and he opened the deceased phone. using the deceased fingerprints, where he started Googling on what to do after such a thing. Anybody and everybody he met after the murder, he acted naturally. He even drove vehicles several times. Now you can see that. That is not somebody who has, that is not an instinctive manslaughter, but this is either a murderer or a follower of the devil worshipper. Someone who has just murdered for the first time is usually restless, and even a child would notice his restlessness. But he met several people, drove to several places, and slept in several places, but acted naturally. Now comes the disposal of the body. First and foremost, I don't believe that a single word from the convict from the time the body left the crime scene to the place it was found. These are the stories of up to the time when the deceased died, up to whatever. I do believe that it is mostly right and it is possibly right. But when he talks about how the body left uh, the place where it died to the place where it was found, I don't believe a word. He had an individual who assisted him to get the body from the house to the car. He was not in a hurry. He would allow the person who was assisting him to rest a bit. I think he rested a few times after carrying the heavy box. They even reached at the gate where the box was, changed slowly so as to pass the gate because the gate was slim. Then there is the two issues of him driving different places and even avoiding the CBD. His head was more relaxed than before the death. Is that still the evidence of dark powers? He then alleges that he dropped the box where it was found single-handedly. He says that he went around with the people and whatever, dropped them somewhere, and then when he reached a place, he came out of the vehicle and single-handedly removed the box and placed it. Now, if he can carry it alone, why did he carry it in the first place and then at the place of disposal, he is carrying alone? This is the same box that was so heavy for the two of them, uh, but he is disposing of single-handedly. There is also the question of socks in the mouth. He claims that he stuffed them after the death, actually a day or more after the death. Postmortem says that both the socks and the wire caused his death. We have to thank him, however, for at least disclosing something. Getting something from somebody is better than getting nothing from him. There is a lot of things that he has not answered, but whatever he has answered, we can accept it for the time being. We can accept it for the time being. At least we know most of the truth. The little that we don't know, we will have to live by that. We have to accept that we may never know what led to that. As for the judgment and whatever, Justice Nyakundi performed very well and he did very good reasoning that he should be thanked for. So it is also good that for the people to know exactly what happened, because in such cases, actually, the reason why we have to know that is that it has happened. There is nothing we can do about it, but it assists us to prevent future such evidences. You can see this is somebody who had a wife and a child, but still had affairs that are out of ordinary with a fellow man. That is something that is unfortunate. That is something that has happened, and there is nothing we can do about it but pray to God that such a thing cannot happen to anybody else in future.